What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Final Pick podcast. I'm your host, Zachary, and I'm here with the co host today.
What's up, guys? I'm Van.
And we're back with another episode, another podcast, I guess we can call it. It's late at night tonight, but we are about 20 ish, I think 19 hours away from the start of free agency, you know, and we've already had a couple moves that have happened so far as a precursor to free agency. A little bit of tampering stuff that's going on that we'll get to in a little bit. But for first and foremost, last week on Thursday we had the NBA draft. We did have a preview video. We kind of went over a quick little mock draft, some players we liked in it. And overall, I gotta say, right off the bat, the draft was a surprise. For the most part, we all thought that it was probably Jabari Smith first overall pick. Then, the morning of or the day before, I think we actually talked about it a little bit. The odds kind of shifted a bit towards Paulo Banchero, right?
Well, I think that was closer towards the draft. I don't think it happened that morning. I think it was like an hour before the draft where Paolo's odds started going crazy.
Yeah, they started going crazy like the morning or the day before, but he was never number one. And then about half hour before, all of a sudden it's like this might be a real thing. Paulo might go first overall. It was kind of the first draft in a while that you really didn't know who's going first overall until the pick actually happened, or at least within 30 minutes of. So it was kind of surprising right off the bat. You didn't know if the Thunder would kind of now pick Jabari Smith or Chet Holmgren after Paulo went. And overall, I mean, after the first pick, you basically knew what was going to happen, like for most of the lottery. But I mean, be able to start off with a surprise like that, it's always fun not knowing what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I felt like we said in the podcast that the Magic should have gone Paolo. He's the most NBA ready player, and I think he fits them, or at least what they need. And they did that. I think that was the correct pick, and I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, I mean that the Magic can be fun this year. They got Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner. I don't know what's going on with Jonathan Isaac, but Paulo. Let's see what happens with Mo Bamba. We'll get to him in a little bit. He is a free agent. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not what we
I'm still waiting
was.
for Fultz.
I have to keep waiting. Honestly, I like.
We might have to keep waiting on that, but
also Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a beaten drum, but the one thing I saw, I don't know if you watched Terrence Ross's videos. He was hyped for the pick, and that guy just requested a trade. That's kind of weird to me. That tells you that they did. I think that's where that tells you they made the right pick. Terrence Ross, he requested a trade earlier in the offseason, or I think maybe he didn't request one. Maybe it was just him that the rumor they're trying to trade him, get him off the books.
It's probably rumor because I don't ever remember hearing anything about him requesting a trade.
Oh no, maybe it wasn't requested, but I know he was getting shopped around, and he knew that because he was on Twitch stream and he was seeing all the rumors of like they're messing with him, saying yeah trade. He's like, oh, I almost got happy, and he was happy about the pick. So I mean that tells you something right there. That's a hooper right there. So hoopers know hoopers.
Yeah, and we're gonna have Summer League starting in about a week, so we'll get to actually see these guys in action pretty soon against some at least not NBA competition, but right below that it'll be fun. I think the first game is want to say is going to be like Chet versus Jabari Smith. I think the first game of Summer League. So after that, we'll get a pretty fun matchup against two of the top picks.
I have a prediction for that game. Chet's going to end up fucking him up, but Jabari Smith's gonna have 25. It's a Jaren Jackson thing.
We ain't gonna do no Summer League predictions.
Hey man, I'm just saying every first Summer League game, they like getting that first rookie hyped up. They always do it. Every team's a rookie. That's why I'm saying that first Summer League game, just like Jaren Jackson did, that's what Jabari Smith's gonna do. He's gonna drop a 25 bomber, but Chet's gonna do his thing.
We'll see. I'm not gonna put no predictions for no one in
I'm putting that prediction out there. Jabari's gonna have a 20 plus point night.
Yeah. Well, was there any team specifically that you thought did really well in the draft? I'll kind of go ahead and say I liked OKC did. I mean, they obviously got Chet. We both talked about before. We thought he was a great fit next to Shea, Giddey, etc. They got not only Jalen Williams, but they also got Jalen Williams.
Yeah, the Spider-Man meme, and they also got Ousmane Dieng.
Yeah,
it was a project, but he's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, if Dieng can develop like people think he's going to develop, right? Because he really rose up draft boards closer to the draft. And I don't know too much about him. Like I only briefly watched him. Really only watched him just to do the show last week. But, I mean, he definitely has a lot of potential and a potential front court with him and Chet. I mean, if they could both reach that potential that they have, that's going to be pretty scary. It's going to be a Twin Towers down there. And then you have guards like Shea, Giddy. We'll talk about Dort later, but they have definitely a lot of potential. Not ready this year, maybe not next year, but once all those picks actually develop and the 1,000 more they have.
Yeah. They have 15 first-round picks in the next 3 years, or something around that. But the people I liked in this draft, I like the Nuggets a lot. The first pick, Christian Brown, I was high on him. I think he went a little earlier than people expected, but I think he's a very solid player and it's a safe pick. And I also loved of course, besides the Thunder's draft, I love the Memphis draft, and I think you could agree with that. A couple of the guys you liked. But I like my favorite pick, at least value-wise, was that second-round pick for the Tennessee guard. What's his name?
To Memphis.
Kennedy Chandler. Yeah. I like that pick. That's a value pick. I just think they all around did what they wanted to do, got the players they wanted, and didn't have to trade anything worth anything. So I think they had one of the top drafts as well.
Yeah, I could see Kennedy Chandler kind of being the Ayo DeSumo of last year, right? Because, I mean, Tyus Jones, he's probably gone. No, he's not become a free agent. And, I mean...
Did you see what he's projected to get?
I think it's like 2 for 16, maybe, or something like that.
I don't know what I saw, but I saw it was 15 a year for Tyus Jones.
I don't know who's offering that.
I don't know who is either, but it was on the ESPN thing where they pick a player and add him to the team. His contract was 15 a year.
There's only like 6 or 7 teams with actual cap space this year. I don't know who's going to prioritize Tyus Jones for that type of money. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You've seen the Timothy Mozgovs of the world, so I guess you never know.
You never know, man. But I tell you what, right when free agency starts tomorrow, or where the legal tampering starts, at least three guys are going to get signed instantly for no fucking reason. No reason.
I think I have an idea of some guys who are going to get announced right away. And like I said,
we'll
get to it.
I want to hear it. Make it look. Oh, we'll get to it. All right.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But
all right.
But yeah, what were we just talking about? But I was going to say Tyson. So he's a very solid guard. Like he definitely is worth a mid-level type offer for sure. Just $50 million, bit too much.
Definitely a bit too much.
Yeah, but overall, draft was fun, you know. And I mean, there's no draft that I think I personally actually hated, which I don't know if that's good or a bad thing necessarily. You know, that I think that everybody had a decent draft for their needs. But yeah, I also gotta say, like the Pistons draft a lot, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. I mean, that's good of a duo as you can get. Obviously, they had 2 lottery picks, so of course they're gonna have a good draft. But I think they both will fit very nicely with the team as well. Next to Sadiq Bey, next to Cade Cunningham, that 4 right there, that could be nice.
Yeah, it could be nice in the future. It's definitely going to be a bottom tier they use this year, but they're gonna build. And Duren's got all the assets to become Bam Adebayo 2.0. So I really like both of their picks. Is there any value picks you had in the first round?
Any value picks, like really good picks that like late?
Or picks that you think they fell a little later than they should have.
A little later, nothing at the top of my head. I mean, obviously I had my sleepers, but a lot of them kind of went where I thought. Like Jake Lavaria, he kind of went in somewhat the range I thought. Blake Wesley, same thing. But that's kind of the range I had them in. But nobody necessarily thought that fell too far that I was like super crazy about.
Yeah. You know who else had a good draft? The Spurs. I think they had a very good draft as well. They got Browman at 20. I think he's going to be very solid. He's going to be one of those role players. But I think he's going to be very solid. I didn't like their first pick, Socher, whatever his name is, Baylor. Not high on him, but I mean, I thought they would go for him. We both thought they'd go for him, get some building blocks. But they went for a player that's kind of already ready to play, more than likely. But he's a role player, and I don't know why they would have taken him at 9. I don't think he has much upside personally.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Spurs type pick, though. I do feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to speak too much on him because I don't know too much about him. But I mean, always gotta wait and see. Who knows? You always gotta wait and see how they play. I'll find out more about him in the summer league.
For sure.
Yep. But speaking of the Spurs, there was a big time trade today. In the NBA, Dejounte Murray, one-time All-Star this year, got traded to the Atlanta Hawks for Danilo Gallinari and 3 first-round picks and a few pick swaps, if I'm not mistaken. A big-time trade package. Dejounte Murray, obviously, you said point guard, averaged 22, 8, and 8 this year. Did I say obviously point guard? I meant to say first-time All-Star, if I did.
First time All-Star. You said All-Star.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, what's your thoughts on the trade?
I think, as far as Atlanta's thinking, they got a steal. I think it's a trade for both teams that fits both teams, because what the Spurs are trying to do is what the Thunder did: build up assets, get a bunch of picks, and not have to pay their good players, which is exactly what they did. But I think it works out for both of them. I think Dejounte Murray, though, is definitely going to have a smaller role in the Hawks. Of course, obviously, than he did on the Spurs. He could do whatever he wanted on the Spurs because he was the only guy there. But as far as equal value, I think they got equal value.
Yeah, I mean, with the way I see it, I think the Spurs got a great deal for Dejounte. Now, personally, I want to trade to Dejounte. I don't know why they felt the need to. But when compared to other trades, like, for example, the Drew Holiday trade to the Bucks a couple years ago, I feel like they got a lot better value than what the Pelicans got for Drew Holiday. If I'm not mistaken, they got like 2 picks back. I don't remember if they got any players back. Obviously, Drew Holiday was a little older. Drew Holiday was a little older, but basically, I think it was 2 first-round picks they got back. And they just got 3 first-round picks and swaps. I mean, Gallo, he might get waived. We'll have to wait and see. But I think when you compare to trades like that, I think they got great value for Dejounte Murray. And then the Hawks side, I really have to wait and see. I'm not the biggest fan of the offensive fit between Trey and Dejounte Murray. I feel like they're both guys who need the ball in their hands. Neither guys I really trust off the ball. I know Trey can shoot the ball well, but I mean, if he doesn't have the ball, he's not like Steph Curry. I mean, nobody's really like Steph Curry, but he's not going to be running around screens trying to get open. He's going to stand at the top of the key. You know, he might catch and shoot from there or the wing, but he's not moving, trying to get open. It's almost like a 4-on-5 in a sense when he does not have the ball in his hands. And then Dejounte, I'm not worried about him shooting. You know, he's a 32% three-point shooter, I think. So just the offensive fit to give up that much value to build next to Trey, I'm not sure the biggest fan. But at the same time, I do think that Dejounte, he was an all-defensive player at one point in his career. I know he made an all-defensive team. DeAndre Hunter, great defender. You can have 2 great perimeter defenders next to Trey. That might be kind of the route they're thinking. They're like, all right, let's see if we can kind of mesh the roles of Trey and Dejounte offensively. Can they fit well enough that the defense overpowers this? Kind of have to wait and see. But overall, to give that much value for just a fit I don't personally trust in. Now, let's wait and see what the rest of the team looks like, because John Collins, we'll get to in a second, it's a good chance he's gone. Clint Capella, it's a good chance he's gone. So let's see the team they build around them. Maybe I have less concerns. They create more spacing, will add to weight ability. But just those 2 pairing together offensively, I don't think it's going to be terrible. But at the same time, you could have gotten a lot better fit for the value you give up for it.
I completely agree with you. That was my one thing with the trade is I don't know if they're going to mesh, because you got 2, at least when they were on their respective teams, they're 2 ball dominant point guards. I don't know who's going to take the ball up. I think, to be honest, Trey would probably play the 2. But he would, like you said, he would need to learn to come around those screens and pop shots. It's something that you completely need to learn. They're kind of like, and they're not the same player. Obviously, Trey's a shooter. They're not the same player anywhere near. It's just they're 2 similar roles where they're the point guard, and none of them have really played shooting guard in their respective systems. So it's going to be a weird thing, but I'm sure they'll work around it. They're 2 amazing players. But yeah, I agree with you. They're not the best mesh, at least for the value they gave up. They could have gotten somebody that would have fit at least the system better.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know anyone specifically at the top of my head, but I would have probably gone for a more 2-way guy. Like, I like someone who's a better catch and shoot guy. Like, basically all the strengths of Dejounte offensively, I don't really need next to Trey. I kind of need what he has offensively, like efficiency wise. Like Like I want a catch and shoot guy next to Trey, and that can play defense. That's just the way I see it personally. Like I said, I can't think of anybody specifically top of my head. Like also, if they want another ball handler, I would maybe try going for Malcolm Brogdon, not as good of a player as Dejounte Murray, but a much better fit next to Trey Young because he can handle
100%.
the ball, but he is a more natural shooting guard. He's a more natural off ball guy than really a point guard.
I would have loved that fit completely. Then how you said it, that would have been amazing. Brogdon, Trey Young, put Brogdon at the 2. I'd have loved that way more than Dejounte Murray and Trey Young, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
Do you think they got distracted with name, or do you think it was just?
I think
it doesn't seem like an NBA fit. You know what I mean?
I personally think DeJounte and Trey are friends, and I think they both wanted for each other, and the front office listened to Trey. I think it has a little bit to do with that. And I mean, it could work out. DeJounte, like I said, I mean, DeJounte's better than Brogdon, in my opinion, and he is a great player. But I just got to see it before I believe it.
I'm with you on the exact same page on that completely. It could work out because they're both amazing players, but it's just as a third person aspect, it's like you don't see the mesh, but anything can happen.
Yep. And then speaking about the teammate, I do think John Collins will get traded at some point. Some of the teams that are reported interested in John Collins is the Sacramento Kings, the Utah Jazz, and the Miami Heat. Those are the 3 teams that have been linked to John Collins. And I was kind of surprised that that he didn't get traded draft night. But I think the Kyrie news did have a lot to do with no trades happening. And don't worry, guys, we'll get to the Kyrie news after we talk about some of these potential trade guys. But John Collins, I mean, he's an interesting player. He's a great player, great offensive guy, but he hasn't been the best guy defensively throughout his career. Although when they made that run into playoffs just 2 years ago, I thought that he showed a lot of defensive potential during that run when it actually mattered. But besides that run, I really haven't seen him play defense that I think he's capable of. I think he has all the tools, but I think he's capable of a lot more defensively. And then, I mean, offensively, he can shoot the ball. He can get to the rim. I don't know if he has as much shot creation as I'd want, but my one concern with John Collins, I feel like the way the NBA is nowadays, you need to be versatile with your positions. I feel like he is a pure 4. Don't think he's side to the 3. And for what I've seen, I don't like the minutes he plays at the 5. I think that's my one concern, John Collins, and a team that might be trained for him. Like the teams I mentioned, like for example, the Miami Heat, he has to play the 4. He has to play next to Ben, which shouldn't be a problem. But if they want to run small ball, I don't think he can be a PJ Tucker small ball 5. The Kings, he could fit. That'd be an interesting.
That would be a bad trade for Miami because it would most likely, if you think about it, what all the possible trade packages, it would most likely include Harrison Barnes, and that's 2 guys that are on the Heat's radar. That would be a bad trade for the Heat, at least to see from a fan's perspective. Because I can't think of anything else they would throw in from the Kings. They're not trading Sabonis. They're not trading Fox, obviously. Who else they got there that has trade value? Rashawn Holmes.
I like Rashawn Holmes, but just
he's their 9th man.
But I do think Harrison Barnes would probably be included in that. I think Harrison Barnes would be a nice return back for Utah. I think he kind of fits the 3-and-D type build. He also got a little bit more shot creation to him as well. If
the only shot creating John Collins has is going baseline and dunking it on somebody. But back to what you said, you saw it in the run where he was a little bit of a better defender than this year. I think he gave up on his team this year. To be completely honest, I didn't think he wanted to be there. He thought he was getting traded during the trade deadline. Didn't happen. And then he kind of sat out. I know he had an injury. What was the injury? I think it was something like small, and he just decided to sit out anyways. He didn't look like he wanted to be there.
He did come back, though, for the playoffs. He think he's played in game 3s to the end of the season. He might have played the entire series. But he was injured. He was limited. I will say, though, I just remember this pre-draft. He is from West Palm Beach, I believe. He did grow up as a Miami Heat fan. I could see him want to make his way there to Miami. I think I've said before, I think Sacramento's the favorite. They got Keegan Murray now, so who knows if they're still that interested in him. The Jazz would be an interesting team. I don't know who they would give up. Maybe something like Royce O'Neal or Bogdanovich or something along those lines. But I think that could be an interesting fit if he was to go there.
Do you think it's a because you know the Capella rumors as well? Do you think it's a possibility they package him and send him for Gobert?
I don't see why the Jazz do that. In a sense,
I mean, they get two pieces and they don't have to bust out because all their good players want to leave.
I just feel like if they're going to trade Gobert, they might want to go for a different type of center. I feel like they're both somewhat similar in roles.
Yeah, Gobert's a better defender, but Capella's a better offensive player.
A better rebounder though. He might be the best rebounder in the league.
Yeah, Clint Capella. Clint Capella's an amazing offensive rebounder.
Yeah, we keep kind of leading to guys. We kind of mentioned Harrison Barnes. I didn't see anything specifically of him being specifically rumored to team. Also, John Collins rumored to the Spurs, but I doubt that's happening now after the Murray trade. But Harrison Barnes, I think that any team that's trying to compete needs to go after Harrison Barnes because I think he's a perfect 3-4 type guy you can add to your team. He'll be able to play 30-plus minutes for you in the playoffs. Because honestly, all you care about is those playoff minutes. He can shoot, he can create, he can defend. He's just a perfect he'll be like an elite role player for your team. I know, obviously, last time we saw him in a big-time game, with the Warriors when the Cavs came back 3-1. Not his best show in those last 3 games. But nonetheless, I think that you add him to a team. The former champion would be a huge pickup for any team.
Oh, yeah, he's a winner. That's what you need. He's that role player that will win you games. It's an Iguodala type player. It's a PJ Tucker type player. It's a Jay Crowder type player. Yeah, he'll get in there and win you games. He has a little more shot creating ability than all those guys, but he just gets in there and wins games.
Yep, for sure. And then we kind of mentioned Brogdon earlier. I kind of put Brogdon and Turner together. I kind of heard that Brogdon might be off the trade block now. Don't know how much I truly believe in that.
I haven't heard much of him, though. You've been hearing more about T.J. Warren and Miles Turner than Brogdon.
Well, T.J. Warren is a free agent.
Restricted, though.
I'm interested to see if Turner or Brogdon ends up getting traded because there hasn't been that much smoke about them recently. I feel like the Pacers are a team that's trying to rebuild a certain way. That I would keep Turner. I would trade Brogdon personally if I was the Pacers. I think Brogdon's a great player, but I think you could probably get good value for him. I know the Wizards were a potential landing spot, but after the trade they made today, if you guys didn't hear, they traded Ish Smith and KCP to the Nuggets for who is Monte Morris and Will Barton. So I thought both teams did good. I think the Nuggets got KCP, who would be a good wing defender for them, something that they do need. And then the Wizards got 2 really good players in Monte Morris, who might be their starting point guard now.
He will be their starting point guard. Here's the thing. I don't think the Beals are in the market for a guard. Or the Wizards, my bad. I said the Beals. It might as well be the Beals. I don't think the Wizards are in the market for a starting guard because if you think about it, they got Morris and Barton today. That's a 1 and a 2. They got Beal about to sign a 5-year max. You already know that's coming. And then you got Johnny Davis with their first round pick. So they're definitely not looking guard anymore. If they are, they shouldn't be. But they have guards, especially a lot of shooting guards, a lot of great talent at shooting guards. So I don't think that should be one of their roles. Especially you were talking about Brogdon for them, or
I said before,
you're just talking about
before the trade.
Got you.
Before. Yeah,
I think the Pacers should keep Brogdon personally. I think that'd be good for Halliburton's development.
I mean, I know they got Buddy Hield still there. I don't know what they're looking at with him. They got Chris Duarte. If you want to build around Halliburton and Chris Duarte, you might want to push them out. Brogdon and Hield is just smart for the development of that because, I think Tyrese Halliburton has such a high ceiling. I love Tyrese before the draft. I actually found out recently, I really thought the Hawks should have taken him in the draft. I thought he could have played next to Trey. Maybe I was a bit wrong on that fit at the time, but apparently he actually did tell the Hawks that he didn't want them to draft him. I heard that a couple days ago. They told the Hawks and the Cavaliers, I think it was.
Halliburton told a team not to draft him?
I believe so. I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure he said in an interview recently.
I'd rather go to Atlanta than Sacramento, not to be mean, but what I think the Pacers are doing, I think if I'm the Pacers at least, I'm keeping Brogdon to put him at the 2 and keep him next to obviously Halliburton at the 1. and then I'm letting Warren walk. That's nothing to you guys anymore. He hasn't played in a year. Let Warren walk, and I think they trade Turner. I think the only people that leave the team, 100%. They're going to let Warren walk, and they're going to trade Turner if anybody. That's what I think they should do at least, because they got good pieces, man. They got a good front court. And they got Mathurin now, so he can be up the bench 6-man, or you can play small forward, can you?
Yeah, you can play small forward, build around Halliburton, Duarte, Benedict,
Oh, yeah, my bad. And Hield's gone too, 100%. Hield and Turner are the ones that are going to get traded, 100%.
But we'll have to wait and see. We know there will definitely be a lot of interest in Turner. Then one more trade guy I want to talk about, D'Lo. He's been shopped around a lot. And I mean, I don't know if there's really a lot of interest in him. The one thing about the point guard position, you can go back to this with like Brogdon. Almost every team kind of has a point guard. If you really think of it, that there's no need to trade for someone like D'Lo, who's not a top 10 point guard, maybe not top 15, or maybe not even top 20 at this point. I'm not saying he's a bad player at all, but he didn't have his best year last year. Did not have a good playoffs. And I mean, I don't know there's really a lot of interest for him at his contract. I think he might have like 2 years left, maybe making like 25, 30 million a year, something like that. Do you see any potential landing spots for D'Lo at the moment?
No, I don't think D'Lo gets traded. I think his contract's too big for what he's been producing. Literally off the top of my head, if I could think of one team that he would get traded to, I think the Nets. Back to the Nets. It just seems like something. It just seems like I always seem like it's always those weird teams that make trades out of nowhere. And Russell, you could predict to the Timberwolves when it happened, but you couldn't predict into the signing with the Warriors. You know what I mean? I feel like it would just be a trade with like a Joe Harris contract, just a random guy, just to get the Timberwolves to save some money after the next year. And I put him at the 2 next to Kyrie. I feel like that's the only option. Besides that, I went through it and looked at the teams. I predicting something weird, or he's staying.
The one other thing I think of is maybe to the Knicks. Like,
I think they're too high on Brunson.
Yeah. And, I mean, speaking on the Nets, though, let's go to Kyrie. So, I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you like sports, you like the NBA. So, you probably know about the Kyrie situation. That was such a weird situation. That was, I don't know. So, I mean, obviously, Kyrie and the Nets, they couldn't really agree to a contract, right? And it's funny watching the media play because I think I mentioned to you, you could probably see Shams and Woj, great reporters, but you can kind of see who was feeding who the information. It seemed like Kyrie's team was giving Shams information. It seemed like the Nets were giving Woj information. And then you had Brian Windhorst getting information from the Lakers, right? Mm-hmm. So you'd see Shams kind of report something like pro Kyrie, trying to create leverage. And then you'd see something from Woj kind of pro Nets, trying to create leverage that way. But overall, I mean, he had a few options. He could have opted into his contract, asked for a trade. The most likely landing spots for a trade would most likely have been Miami, New York, or one of the LA teams. And then he could have opted out, re-signed to a long-term deal with the Nets, which the Nets didn't really seem like willing to do. Try to sign long-term due to all the COVID issues and off-court issues that Kyrie's had with them. Then the one other option that was brought up was, which I never saw this as a real option, but opting out to sign with the mid-level exception with the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, is Kyrie really doing that? Was he really about to forfeit $30 million to sign the Lakers?
Everybody thinks Kyrie was just messing with us, just like he does. He messes with people. That's what he does, and I support it. I think it's funny, but I don't think he was doing that this time. I think he was honestly trying to get out of Brooklyn because he didn't want to be there for some odd reason, and saw that. I think he expected way more interest than there was. He was expecting, because he asked permission to seek a trade, couldn't find one, obviously, and make the money work. So he's like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm not going to go take $6 million. And with the Lakers, I'm taking my $34 million, going to prove it this year, going to come back, actually try to play the whole season, hopefully. Love watching Kyrie, so I hope he does. But he's gonna get his bag next year. But no one was taking the risk on him, and he didn't think he'd have no value like that. I just think it was a misconception.
I heard that there were trade talks with the Heat, with the Mavericks and the Lakers. I don't know how far any of those offers went. I know a reported offer of like Westbrook for Kyrie, some type of swap, maybe picks involved, was offered, but the Nets weren't interested in Westbrook, which I don't blame at this point. But personally, this is just my personal opinion. I think Kyrie wants to go to the Lakers, but he's not giving up $30 million. I think he opted in. Westbrook's contract is off the books next year. I don't know if they'll have a full max spot open, but it'll basically be enough money that they would have to be able to work a realistic sign and trade, at least in order to get Kyrie. I personally think that's what he wants. Now, that's a full year. A lot can change in a year. That's just my personal opinion what's going to happen with the Kyrie situation. But, I mean, let's wait and see. Kyrie has done a lot of things that you don't expect. So let's just see what's next with the Kyrie saga.
I'm just going to let it happen, but I agree with you. I think he doesn't want to be in the Lakers as well. He thought they can get a trade in place, and nobody wants Westbrook right now, even though I do think Westbrook's going to have a good year. I do believe it. Everybody's hating on Westbrook, thinking he's terrible. He's not. He has a bad shot and bad shot selection, but I think he's going to be good this year. So take him in fantasy if you play basketball fantasy. If you don't, I don't blame you. The shit sucks.
I would not listen to that advice if I was you guys. I would not listen to that advice if I was you. Westbrook is just a bad fit. I mean, I don't know if LeBron will be able to play like more than like 70 games a year or even 65 games a year at this point. So maybe Westbrook can get value in those games, but don't listen to his advice.
Y'all hate on Westbrook. He's listening to this hate, and I'm not a Westbrook lover. I always actually kind of hated Westbrook. I always disliked Russell Westbrook's game, but this year he's listening to this stuff. He's gonna do his thing this year with LeBron and AD.
Yeah, you saw Westbrook, post on his Instagram story, singing some songs, I just accept the $47 million player option. I don't care what you guys are saying about me,
He shouldn't care. He's in his own world, and he should be. He's going to do his thing this year. I know he is. And he's going to look back at the critics. He's not going to be OKC Westbrook, but he's going to do his thing. I'm telling you right now. I think he's going to be Wizards Westbrook this year.
I mean, hopefully if ESPN's talk about the Lakers this year, it's for something good instead of them being trashed, Like,
yeah. Hopefully.
But like I said, at 6:00 Eastern time tomorrow, legal tampering period opens. Legally opens. That not saying there's some tampering that hasn't already happened.
Oh yes, it has.
But I just want to get the top 3 free agents out of the way. We got Zach LaVine, James Harden, Bradley Beal. I kind of want to get that out of the way because I feel like we could probably agree all 3 of them are staying. They're going to go back. LaVine and Beal are going to sign their max contracts with their respective teams. Harden will sign a contract with the Sixers. Looks like it's going to take less money to try to open up the full mid-level exception for the Sixers to be able to use. It's reportedly to be able to try to bring in PJ Tucker. It's interesting. Are they bringing PJ Tucker in to be the backup 4 for them? I don't know how much money Harden's got to take for them to open up mid-level. If they're maybe going to have to make some more moves, like trade away Matisse Thybulle, or they have to trade away Tobias Harris. And if you do that, are you trading Tobias Harris, who's a better player, to bring in PJ Tucker? I don't know how much sense that makes. So I'm not cap gymnastic with the whole how much money Harden's got to make to open it. But do you disagree at all with any of those 3 players staying with their teams?
No, Zach LaVine signed that max day 1. No doubt in my mind. Beal's a little weird for me, but I think he does end up signing that max. He's always been about his money. Don't blame him. That's where he should be. He wants his own legacy in Washington, wants that money. No hate on that. I would love to see him talk to other teams, just entertain it, but he won't. So I agree with those 2. And then Harden, he's obviously not going anywhere, but if they shouldn't even trade Thybulle to get Tucker's money, but I mean, let them do what they want to do. I love PJ Tucker, but he's not worth clearing money for. I'm sorry, I would never agree on that.
So with the Beal thing, I do have a feeling he's going to ask out about a year. I think he knows this is probably his last big time contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get it and ask for a trade. It's just kind of how some stuff's happened in the NBA lately. I just have a feeling that might be the route he goes.
For sure.
And
That's exactly what he's going to do.
I don't blame
He's going
anybody
to
for
do
taking
that.
that money.
No, I can't. Especially what, a quarter of a bill. I'm not gonna hate on that. I respect Bradley Beal. He talks to the kids too about it. He's very money smart. He's gonna do his thing. And I love Bradley Beal. Hopefully he's on the Heat one day, but he's gonna be a Wizard this year. And I think I agree with you. I think he gets his money and could request a trade a year or two into that if they're bad, which I don't think they will be. I think they're pretty solid all
They'll
around.
be decent. I think the Wizards have tried to build around Bradley Beal. I think they've tried multiple things to try to help. Like their franchise does seem like they want to try. They just don't have the resources to do a lot. But we'll see what they can do this year. You know, they started off the year off good last year. They were like number one seed in the East for the first couple weeks. And then I don't remember if it was when Beal got hurt when they started going to downfall. They kind of started to before he got hurt. But obviously once
and the Dinwiddie trade.
Dinwiddie trade, yeah. But obviously once Beal got hurt, they really didn't have a chance to make a real playoff push at the end of the day.
For sure. And I really do think they're like a forward away from being a playoff team. Like they got solid pieces. They have
You don't trust Kuzma?
Kuzma, that's why I said they need a forward. I like Kuzma. Kuzma's their small forward, power forward, wherever you want to put him, but they need another forward. They got their bigs. They got Gafford and Thomas Bryant. Yeah. And don't they have another one? Oh, Porzingis.
Porzingis, yeah. Traded.
Yeah, so I like them. They just need another forward, man. They keep drafting these guards, but they drafted a good player this year. He's going to be very good, especially in that system. I like him in Washington.
Yep, and let's talk about a player who, might have already agreed to a contract, obviously no tampering, but John Wall was bought out from the Houston Rockets. He agreed to take $6.5 million off a buyout. Congratulations to John Wall of missing a whole year of basketball and still getting over $40 million. Actually, I guess $80 million you combine the 2 years, which is absolutely absurd. But, I mean, get your money.
Dude, I am so excited for this year. Because if you think about it, like last year, we had injuries going into the season. Think about it now. Name a good player that's not going to be playing this year.
Don't jinx it. Jinx it.
There's no jinx in it because I'm not going to name any players because there is none right now. But it looks like all these stars are fun. It looks like you just got news, did you?
There is some news. Free agent that I was just about to talk about, Miles Bridges, has been arrested in Los Angeles for a felony domestic violence.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. This is reported from TMZ Sports. Breaking news around the pod. Y'all heard it here first, even though probably didn't hear it here first. But
there's no fucking way. Is this guy just doing everything possible to mess up his contract?
I don't know. He was going to probably get a bag. I don't know the details of it. Just came out. We'll have to wait and see the details of it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I did want to play a quick little rapid fire. I'm naming you some free agents. Actually, before I do that, we were talking about John Wall. We got distracted out of nowhere.
Yeah, we got John Wall.
John Wall looks like he's going to sign with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Which is a good fit. Him next to Paul George and Kawhi. If he can play, like I thought he had some decent moments with Wizards. Obviously not prime John Wall, but a year off, being able to heal his body. I'm interested to see how that fit's going to look. The Clippers should be one of the favorites to win it all this year as long as everybody is healthy. Obviously, health is a big concern with that team. But I'm very excited to see how the Clippers are going to play this year with John Wall. I mean, obviously, no tampering involved, like I said. But if he does sign with the Clippers, that should be an interesting fit. I wonder who's going to start between him and Reggie Jackson.
He should start. I mean, we'll see in training camp how everybody looks, but John Wall has no reason not to be starting. The man's had a year of rest. He has to be good to go. I'm so excited. I'm not going to lie. Every time at 10:30, it's always the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Blazers, and those have been boring teams to watch, Lakers. But now you got all these teams. They should be healthy with Kawhi. You got Paul George, Zubac, you got Morris. Dame's healthy. I'm talking about the Clippers, right? The Clippers right now.
I didn't talk about that whole 10:30 window.
Yeah, no, they got Terrence Mann off the bench. They got Jackson or Wall coming off the bench at 6 man. They're going to be so good. I'm so excited to watch all those guys on the same court. Like this is the year I've been waiting for. Like this looks like it's gonna be fun.
Yep, hopefully so. Hopefully so. And now I want to get to. I want to play quick rapid fire. I'm gonna name you some free agents this year, and I just want you to tell me where they're gonna land up. All right. I don't think about it too much. Just come up with the team. All right.
All right.
And who better off to start with than Miles Bridges?
Pistons.
Pistons. All right. Another free agent, DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton. I think he ends up in the Hawks.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Jalen Brunson might already have a contract with someone, but
I'm gonna stick with the Knicks. Miami's a flag.
PJ Tucker.
Sixers.
Mo Bamba.
Say it again.
Mo Bamba.
Raptors.
Raptors. All right. Bobby Portis.
Heat.
Mitchell Robinson.
Knicks.
Colin Sexton.
Who? Cavaliers.
Malik Monk.
Lakers.
Victor Oladipo.
Kings.
Lou Dort.
Thunder.
Marvin Bagley.
Pistons.
Kevon Looney.
Warriors.
And last, not least, Patty Mills.
Spurs. Back to the Spurs.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Some interesting ones. You can go back to the top. Miles Bridges, obviously, just got arrested. We'll see if that affects things.
Detroit, baby. Let's go.
He's a restricted free agent, though. And just a few days ago, the Hornets GM said that he plans to match, or at least he didn't say match, but he said that he's coming back, basically, which makes it sound like they're going to match whatever he gets offered. Let's see if he does come back. Obviously, GMs say stuff all the time. But I do think he comes back to the Hornets. I don't know if I'm crazy about paying him near max money, but I do think at the end of the day he will end up going back to the Hornets. I just think you have to keep that. If you want to call a Hornets star player, I don't think I would consider him a star, but that player next to LaMelo Ball, you got to keep him next to him.
I can't. I agree with you. I think he should stay for his sake as well. But what is he doing? Like, is he just doing everything possible to mess it up? What he accomplished this year? Like, he blew up. He played amazing, and now he's doing all this music stuff, which is whatever. Do your music stuff. I don't really care about that. That's just all words. But like, he's doing all this stuff where he's like liking Piston comments. I guess maybe he's just trying to get his market up, which I get that too. But now he's getting arrested. Now he's getting arrested. What do you do? You got to be smarter than that, my boy. Even whatever it was, it's just not worth it.
I will wait and see the details, see everything that happens. Just
I really do, but like the fact that it's even in the news makes me sick. Like, what do? You know you're about to get paid literally tomorrow. So what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry. If I was him, I'd be locking myself in a room if I had a problem with anybody.
Maybe lock yourself in the room with Doc Rivers, Chris Paul, that whole lot. Remember DeAndre Jordan?
Blake Griffin. Yeah. Blake Griffin putting a chair under the door. Yeah, man.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
DeAndre Ayton, you said the Hawks. I personally don't see that. I don't see the Hawks. It's interesting. The Nets seem to be a somewhat possibility. I don't see it necessarily, but there's rumors about it.
You didn't even give me John Collins, Zach.
I gave you free agents.
You didn't give me John Collins, one of the top ones. I guess he's not a free agent, but like, all right.
Trade.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my fault. You're right.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton's going to be a Hawk. Why am I saying this? I don't know, but it's going to happen because I said it. And Clint Capella is straight up for him. Watch.
I don't see it. I kind of have a weird feeling he's going to end up back with the Suns. I don't think there's really a lot of interest in DeAndre Ayton. So I think he's going to end up signing with a smaller deal than he wants and maybe get traded down the road. That's kind of my
you think he's going to sign to prove it?
Not to prove it. I think he'll end up probably signing like let's say a 4 for 110 type deal. A little bit less than the max, but still a lot of money. And he'll get traded down the road.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to gamble on himself. But I think he'd fit that culture in Atlanta. Just young and never shutting up. Just young players. I feel like he'd fit Atlanta at least pretty good. And if they want to get really Capella, get younger, there it is.
Yep, and a little bit of offensive guy down low as well. He's not the defender Capella is or the rebounder, but he's got a much better shot, a lot better touch down low. Could be interesting.
He'd fit the Suns well. Capella would.
Well, I'm talking about Ayton for the Hawks. But,
okay, yeah, but I think that makes sense for both teams. I think what they're both looking for, they're looking for maturity at the center position, and he's mature. So I think that'd be good. I was like talking out of my butt, but it makes sense.
Jalen Brunson, I think he ends up with the Knicks. Reported today from Chris Haynes, he's going to plan to meet in New York City with the three teams: Dallas Mavericks, the New York Knicks, and the Miami Heat. I personally think the Heat are kind of in it just for leverage play. Personally, I think Jalen Brunson's going to end up getting 4 for 120, which I think is kind of absurd for Jalen Brunson. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but not 4 for 120 good. The reported rumors is him going to the Knicks for 4 for 110. I think the Heat in play. I think that's going to cause his price to go up a little more. But yeah, I mean, I do think Knicks obviously signed his father to be an assistant coach. I think it's kind of the writings on the wall. And I mean, they're all meeting in New York City. I mean, I think he's a registered free agent though. So if the Mavs really, really wanted him back, they can match an offer. But I just think that's too much out of price range.
No, I don't think the Mavs are in play. But I'm sorry, I lagged there. What's it called? But I think if Brunson if this Miami smoke is real, probably isn't. I don't think it is either. But if it is real, if he gets offered anything close to what the Knicks are offering him, you better take that. I'm sorry, but like Nick, you go to the Knicks where your career dies. That just happens with point guards. It just does. So if it's anything close, especially with the income tax New York compared to Miami, you gotta go Miami. You'd be making the same money, but I mean, I think he goes to the Knicks. I think it's all smoke screens, but I don't. Why are the Miami Heat in everything? Like every player, it's Miami Heat.
It's always the Heat, the Lakers, the Knicks, because those are the main media sites. People want to link their guys there.
And Boston as well. All those small free agents, you always see Boston for no reason.
Next up, kind of talking about PJ Tucker earlier. That's the next guy I have on my list. It's between Philly and Miami. Everybody's talking about Philly. I really do think it's a real 50-50 shot who gets him. Now, I think the main thing is the Heat don't want to offer the full mid-level exception. They seem pretty adamant they don't want to be hard capped. And if he takes the full mid-level, they'll be hard capped. They can offer him 3 years, $27 million. So it's basically if he wants that or he wants the full hard cap to reunite with Daryl Morey and James Harden, that's going to be up to him. I know he is from, I think he's from somewhat close to the Philly area, like maybe like an hour or two away from there. I heard that he might have some potential endorsement stuff or something along those lines that he has interest with up there. That could play a factor. But overall, I mean, PJ Tucker is a very valuable piece. Don't know how he fits in with the Sixers at the moment. Maybe we'll get more clarity on that in the next 24 hours with some potential trades. But I think it's a true 50-50 shot. And if I had to guess, I'd probably say Philly right now. But I'm really not sure either way.
I don't care where he goes, man. Trade or move. I don't get it. Really don't. You kick him out. I get it. He wants. I mean, I do get it. He wants to reunite with his friends, but man, you'll be making the same amount of money after taxes.
I'm not going to follow a guy for money reasons.
Yeah, no, I'm not either.
Mo Bamba. He's got a decent market, I'm sure. I think a lot of times going to be willing to offer I can't think for some reason the mid-level exception. Probably the taxpayers mid-level exception for about $6.5 million. There's a lot of teams involved. I'm not going to pull up the list of the teams involved. I think you said you think he's a Raptor. It does kind of seem like a fit, a Raptors fit. Do you have any reason why you said the Raptors?
Yep, because if you want to get paid and you want to become a good player at that position, that's where you need to go. They built players just like him, and they're building him up. Precious from the Miami Heat year to how he was this year, big steps. Boucher, they pulled out the G League.
Who's a free agent?
He was a free agent, but they have a knack for big men, and they coach him very well. So if he wants to make big money in the future and play how he was expected to play when he came out of the draft, that's where you go. Go accept your mid-level exception, $6.5 million. Go play with the Raptors. Let Nick Nurse work on you. He's amazing with the big men. And get paid the next year after you play amazing, because he has all the skill in the world to be an amazing player. So I'd say it's either Raptors or the Heat, but I think he goes to Raptors. It makes much more sense for him.
You just said everybody's like to the Heat, but I keep hearing you mention people's at the Heat.
Because because there's a little bias, because that's a player I wanted. I had a little list of 5 players.
I'm just saying.
Because
you do know all those little Twitter rumors are from me, right?
I know all the rumors, but I'm just saying, you keep saying this with the Heat.
I know, I'm just like them. It's every Miami Heat fan. We're toxic.
But yeah, I like Mo Bamba. I personally think if he should try to be a place that has another big man next to him. I just think he'd be a nice kind of a Jaren Jackson role in a sense. I think he kind of fit that role, be able to shoot, be able to rim protect.
What did you say?
Mo Bamba. I'm saying
kind of what team?
I didn't say a team. I'm just saying the type of role.
Mm-hmm.
He could shoot, really good pick and pop shooter. And I think he protect the rim. I think he has a lot of untapped potential. Just go to a team that can develop you, because I really liked him at the draft. I thought he was one of the best, if not best player in the draft that he came out. So just hopefully a team can develop him, right?
That's why I said Toronto, Miami. That's the development spots, man.
I'm not going to get to everybody unless I'm going to get to a couple more, though. Colin Sexton, that's an interesting one. I just haven't heard a lot about him. Last offseason, there was a lot of rumors about trades for Colin Sexton. Nothing materialized. He got hurt this year. I don't know if he's just definitely going back to the Cavs. I don't even know what his market's like, if he's a mid-level type guy, if he's getting like $20 million. I just have absolutely no idea what his market is. Have you heard any type of rumors or anything about Colin Sexton at all?
Nope. And I think nobody has money, so I think he goes back to the Cavs. I don't think that's going to be the priority type of player that gets signed at 6 p.m. I think it's going to be one of those players that sits there and says, okay, I'm not getting money here. Might as well go back to Cavs on the one. You like that voice crack? Might as well go back to the Cavs and just get whatever you're qualified for and stay there. And he's a baller. He'll get his money. He just needs to wait a year. I think he just goes back to Cleveland.
Well, you could also always do a sign and trade as well for his money, right?
Yeah, but who's going to trade for him? I think he's coming off a bad injury. It's an ACL tear, I think. I think he just stays with the Hawks personally. Or the Hawks. Jesus, the Cavs.
Next up, I'm going to go down to Victor Oladipo. Reports are that it's pretty unlikely he's going to head back to Miami. Some of the teams that are interested in him is the Denver Nuggets, Sacramento Kings, and there's one other team that I can't think of the top of my head. I personally
was it Memphis?
I don't think it was Memphis. I think it was the Pistons. The other team that was interested. But personally, if I was him between those 3 teams, I'd go to Denver. There's always were rumors about Denver possibly even trying to trade for him. It was with the Pacers and the Rockets. And they could use the perimeter defense. They just got KCP, bring Depot in there to be able to play next to Jamal Murray come back from injury. Michael Porter Jr. come back from injury. I think if he can be Depot, he's still shown he can play defense. We got to wait to see if the offensive flashes get there. But if he can, with a fully healthy offseason and get back to 80% of what he was next to Jamal Murray, Jokic, so on and so forth, I think that could be very good for him.
Yeah, I don't hate it. But by the way, Miles Bridges just got arrested. It was arrested for felony domestic violence. This guy. Oh, fuck. But no, yeah, I agree with that fit. But Oladipo's, I'm happy wherever he goes. As much as I want him to stay, it's greedy for that. He deserves a place to get a shot to start and make that money again, which he missed out on because of injuries. So I don't hate wherever he goes. I think the Kings are the best spot for him to get a starting job, though.
Yeah, and then one last player, Lou Dort. I was surprised that they declined his option. It was a very cheap option for them. My guess is that as it's free agency, they'll probably re-sign him. Or else, why would you decline that option? Lou Dort's a very good player, probably very underrated player. Great defender. He's shown a lot of improvements off his games over the years. I think he averaged like 18 points per game, something like that last year, which is pretty surprising for Lou Dort. And I mean, if he does at the open market, I think he'll get a lot of attention right away. I do expect him to be back with the Thunder on probably some type of long-term deal.
So, but why would they decline the team option of 1.8 million?
Just to get him long-term, because he could be restricted free agent this year. If they were to extend it, he'd be unrestricted free agent next year. So
I mean, why wouldn't they just take that gamble of just taking the cheap contract this year? And I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's money in Oklahoma, but
because they can match anything this year that he gets next year. And yeah, they have so much money, so much cap space. Like they're actually trying to get picks to absorb cap space.
They're not paying anybody.
Exactly, except Shea.
Oh yeah, they just did pay Shea. You're right. They paid him right before Trae Young got paid. But still, yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that's really the last guy I thought that's worth talking about. Hopefully we get some big news. I want to see signing a lot of trades. This is the fun part of the year, right? The off season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's more exciting than the draft. I'd say NFL the draft's more exciting, but yeah, no, for NBA it's the off season, the trades, the signings. So at 6 p.m. they could start announcing signings, right?
Legally, yeah.
Didn't that used to be like midnight?
It used to be midnight, but it was so late they decided to move it up to 6 o'clock.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not as crazy as last year as in terms of names, but overall should still be fun. And like I said, I just hope we get a lot of action.
Yeah,
a lot of action.
So I have one more question for you before we end this.
Yep.
What's that one player you think is going to get signed instantly that has no reason to be getting signed that early?
Has no reason to get signed?
Yeah, because like Timothy Mozgov, like last year there was one that happened. Tim Hardaway got re-signed instantly. Reggie Bullock got signed instantly. Yeah, but that's not what you should be focusing with your main money. Like I don't care what anybody says. It's not like free agency started. We got to go get Tim Hardaway back. Like, why are you doing that?
I gotta look at a list real quick. Who's a player?
I'm trying to find mine right now.
Like, what's one player that's going to get signed really quick and get actually paid decently for no reason?
It get paid decently?
It always happens. One player or two players always get signed instantly
for like 11 to 12 million for no reason at all, and then they end up getting cut. Like Kelly Olynyk was another one. He got signed by the Pistons so quick, dog.
Why do I kind of want to say Andre Drummond?
He's not going to get paid, though. That's what I feel bad for him because he's a decent player.
I don't know if this will necessarily be surprising, but because he hasn't played in a while, I see a team trying to get TJ Warren really quick. I don't think he has much value right now because he's been out, but I think a team's going to be like, oh, he was pretty good in that bubble run. The last time we really seen him. And be like, let me offer my full mid-level right away, try to get him to come. So if I had to guess, I'd probably say him.
You know who I'm going to go with? And this is just such a weird one. I'm going to go with Wesley Matthews. That's just my random pick. He's decent for the Bucks, but he's always like that. He's nothing special. He just does his job. He flops, hits his threes. That seems like a player someone's gonna give him 9 or 10 million right off rip, and you're not gonna understand why you just wasted your money that quick.
I don't think he'll get that much. Don't think he's gotten that much for a while.
He hasn't. That's why I think that. And there's not a lot of them this year that are like, There's a lot of good players and there's a lot of bad players.
Well,
there's not a lot of mid-tier.
The reason why these contracts are so crazy is because you don't expect them.
Yeah, I know. But Wesley Matthews, that's my guess this year. That's going to get announced at like 6:15 for no reason.
All right, Kyrie won't play much games till he gets an extension. We're going to bring this up from Johnny. He says Kyrie won't play much games till he gets an extension. I think Kyrie's going to play this year. I think he's going to play this year out until the end of the contract. And like I said earlier, I think he'll end up signing with the Lakers next offseason once Westbrook's contract is off the books. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I disagree with it. He'll play. He's getting that money. He realized he thought his market was high when he went to free agency, and then or not free agency, whatever it was, when he was seeking a trade, and he saw that the value wasn't there because he wasn't playing all the off court stuff. Which personally I don't have a problem with, but of course NBA teams would be scared of that, paying him a lot of money to come over. But yeah, no, he'll play this year. I think there's no COVID restrictions. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he has to play, right? I
100%.
mean, if he doesn't play, he's going to lose so much money, so much leverage in a potential contract deal. I think he's going to be almost forced to play this year.
He'll play. And I if you would have asked me before he went back to the Nets, I would have been like, he kind of seems like the guy that doesn't care about money. But I mean, I don't blame him.
$30 billion.
He should completely. I don't hate on it. That's what he should have done, and he did it. But like, yeah, he's not playing with his money no more. He's gonna go out there, play like Kyrie Irving, and he's gonna play, if there's no injuries, I think at least 65 games.
Yeah, I mean 65 plus games. As long as the missed games are due to like actual injuries, then I think he should probably earn that contract
for sure, and he will. It's Kyrie Irving. He hasn't lost anything.
Yeah. All right.
He showed that in the playoffs.
So I think it's going to do it. I hope you guys did all enjoy. If you guys listening on Spotify or podcast, make sure to go ahead and follow, leave a 5-star rating. If you guys are here on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe, like this video. We'll probably try to maybe come out with something maybe this weekend, if not sometime during next week. Kind of recapping the beginning of free agency. You got any last words to add on?
No. Let's just. I'm excited for tomorrow, and I'll probably tweet some stuff out at night. Follow us on Twitter, Final Pick Pod on Twitter. Definitely follow that.
Follow on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yep. And lastly, Miles Bridges is a retard. I can't explain it. We don't know the situation yet.
But if he actually did something, this guy has got to be somewhere, not in the right head. He can't be.
Yep. All right. We'll catch you guys later. All right. See ya.
See you guys.